I took a little break due to personal stuff and wasn't able to follow the past couple of weeks, but it's been like consistently a pretty sizable turnout for bi-weekly, which is awesome. I love to see that.
I think the last event actually got fewer players than this one.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully with the Advent League, things will kick back up again. And we'll check into the event lobby here, see if matches are getting underway, who's going to be next on the stream. And looks like brackets have mixed up a little bit. There we go. All right, this round one is looking a little better distributed. Still got some pretty high seeded matchups in the first round, but what can you do? Tournament this stacked.
Did we lose 2 players?
No. It went up to. Wait, did we? Ooh.
I thought we had. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. A couple of check-ins didn't happen. But first on stream, we've got KZN versus Kirby combo.
This will be a good match.
And this could very well have been a top 8 match in any other circumstance, in any other configuration of this bracket, which is just how stacked this event is right now.
And to be fair, as you had been saying before, some of the older GTRs had more than 20 players, so it's definitely a bit of a tough bracket this time around.
Yeah. I've been watching a few of KZN's videos on YouTube, and so, you know, kind of familiar with how they play, but haven't seen Kirby combo in action in a little while. We'll see if he's pulled up any new tricks in the meantime. But both incredibly solid players, will beat you about the head if you take them lightly. Here we go. Fight cards up. KZN versus Kirby combo. Seed 8 versus Seed 10.
I've watched a fair amount of KZN's gameplay myself, and if you start slouching about a bit too much, you will definitely get slapped with some very large chains.
Yeah. And knowing KZN, the absolute meme lord god, I wonder if we're gonna see some stairs versus Kirby combos. No hashtag no stairs zone. Just out of spite. That's the kind of matchup we love to see.
You always gotta get a little bit of conflict in there, you know?
Really putting the Rumble in Great Tuesday Rumble, because otherwise... See, the stream can't go too well, can't have too little drama. That's just not the way these events work.
When it comes to competitive events like this, you gotta get yourself flared up a little bit, you know?
Yeah, and we're hopping into it. Let's try and figure out what their game plan is. It's first to 5, is it?
Yeah, it's first to 5.
So it's not a long set, and you know, could potentially just get blindsided by something when your sets are this short.
When you're in a situation with a set this short, I feel it's one of those things where you get behind 2 games real quick.
That's
you
half
start
the
to worry
set.
a bit too much.
That's half the set, yeah.
KZN's into his main line.
Yeah, Kirby combo has a...
Kirby just needs that red there.
Solid first floor though, but the yellows... Oh, okay, I thought those yellows were gonna cut, but the blues actually cut in column 3. That's unfortunate. But KZN had a pretty nice follow-up too, would have been able to offset probably like a rock if Kirby had gotten a bigger chain somehow. But you know, we'll see if Kirby's able to clean up that play, because you know, first round, first game, first set, first round, these things are gonna happen.
I always make I'm very prone to making mistakes on my first round.
Yep.
First few rounds.
There's no getting around it.
Things.
Yeah. KZN's setting up for a nice poke there on. We'll see if he takes down the purples in columns 3 and 4. But otherwise, these main chains are looking pretty straightforward. Kirby with the 2-poke beefy 1 chain.
And KZN's into his. It looks to be about a 12 chain. And I don't think Kirby's got that covered.
Yeah, because Kirby's 2-chain earlier just kind of got called out. He wasn't able to convert that back into the main chain super quickly. And it almost feels like... Yeah, that's the halfway mark.
Yeah, there's that 0-2 scenario already, and you gotta start worrying a little bit there.
And the worst part is it still feels like KZN kind of snuck that one out from under Kirby. Even though there was like a very clear element of outplay there. It just don't feel right. Can't let it end like this, Kirby. Let's see. Okay, Kirby covers up a Hellfire on column 3. KZN still has a poke available, but I think they need to go for the main chain now. Needs a bunch of reds.
He needs those reds.
Gets it in
looks
time.
like he's just in time. Kirby Combo's got a bit of ground he's gonna have to build up here if he wants to counter this chain right here. And it's
beefy 9, beefy 10 for KZN. This is gonna be tough. Needs like a 10 to counter this. A moon, right?
Yeah, that's about.
I think Kirby's might just be letting KZN get away with a little too much in terms of building out a hefty main chain. A little bit of pressure on KZN's board might at least give Kirby a bit of breathing room to you know, shake things up a little bit.
The problem was that last round was that KZN started off with the pressure though, and Kirby had to respond to everything. Yeah,
and you know, maybe that's something that we might see change up in later rounds of the tournament. But Kirby's really gotta make his builds a little more adaptable, especially against players like KZN, and I know Icy Soapy and folks like those are really good about making those 2-3 chains just to drop a couple lines of garbage, or at least threaten it. But this is a nice main chain from Kirby.
Yeah, it's a solid extension.
Yeah, really took advantage of all the time and space from KZN's main chain. Is this gonna live?
It's gonna return.
This is gonna be the first round for
That's
Kirby.
gonna be a win.
Let's go. No sweep.
No sweep here. Yeah, it would be nice to see Kirby Combo, as you said, get into just a little bit more aggression here, and hopefully that can deter KZN from being able to build up too much power.
Yeah, but the other question is, I wonder if KZN recognizes exactly what was going on in that last round. And see, 3-chain covers up the entire board for KZN, and that's not going to dig down to main for KZN.
Yeah, that's a tough dig there. That's a bit
wake-up call for KZN. Ring, ring, ring. Room service.
And we're back into the game, right?
Yeah, Kirby's serving up a room service helping of whoop redacted. And actually, this round, I feel like KZN's lost a little bit of pace. You know, the last couple of rounds might have caused him to spend a little time to reflect.
KZN's got an interesting tail for sure. And
unfortunately, KZN takes down the tail to send that attack and just gets called out by Kirby Combo. He needs a
oftentimes, but
8 to live. Power 7 only.
7 double and a bit short. And we are tied up again.
Yeah, it was not looking good.
3 to 3-3, is that right?
Yeah, it was not looking good for Kirby earlier, but I think he's really found his groove.
Yeah, as we were saying, sometimes it takes a few sets to really kind of get into the pace of things.
Yeah. And here's something that I've been noticing about Kirby's builds. Oh, 3-chain here though. Reliant on purple for KZN. Oh, that was such a risky sandwich link in the middle column. Was super dependent on the purples to continue the chain. Didn't get any though. But yeah, what I was saying is Kirby seems to be not afraid to go for like the 1-3 sandwich or on the first floor of their builds. And
there's the aggression paying off really well for him.
And I think that's the perfect balance that you really want when you're going for those 1-3 stairs, because those stairs traditionally are going to make it kind of inflexible, right? To make harassments and tails, but Kirby combo picking up that set right there. The earlier aggression really paying off. KZN not really seeming to adapt as well when he's on the receiving end. So KZN goes down to losers. And let's have a quick check-in on our bracket. Yoshi takes out Spider, sends them to losers 5-0. Tight set between Meepssheep and Icy Soapy, 5-4 for Meepssheep. DDR Dan
and Rinto with sweeps, who are going to be facing each other next on stream.
Yeah, and so Goose's Gate and Pokemon Fan respectively go down to losers from there. Void sweeping Banu as well. And Nen taking 1 game off Hiku, 5-1 for Hiku there. And still waiting on omegagon and Anameru to finish up before the next round. And man, losers is looking pretty uncomfy right now. Yeah, I gotta say.
You see some very good players already going down to losers on the first round. That's scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so then DDR Dan versus Rinto Puyo up next. Pico Park 1P local 2431. If you haven't checked out Dan's YouTube channel, post speedruns of Pico Park, they're dope.
What is Pico Park?
Pico Park is like this little co-op game. It's pretty popular on like Twitch and VTuber stuff, but let's get into it. I've been watching a bit of Dan myself. He's been working hard, grinding out a couple of different builds and forms, focused around early aggression. But you know that's going to be an interesting matchup versus Rune or Rinto. Billy, his name's Billy. I'm sorry. You change your name so often, that's what's going to happen.
It's Billy now. And DDR Dan was unfortunately not able to get a yellow there.
Yeah. And you know what I was saying earlier is Rinto is known for their all clears and power chains at the start to get those all chains. And part of Dan's new strategy is saying, look, how can I mix up my super huge early aggression and still convert it into a long main chain. So power 3, gonna counter that rock, only drops a line.
Rinto's going right into his main chain though, and Dan might be able to.
Dan doesn't have much space to work with. Yeah.
And he spent a little bit too much time there, burning that one chain.
Yeah, and the garbage layout didn't really make it easy for him to build fast either. A lot of splitting on the Puyos can cause your piece drops to slow down quite a bit.
I think their chain link was almost close enough, and they had a purple in column 6, which would have added one more to their tail as well. So I think
but the whole thing was
far
just inaccessible, unfortunately. Chenka for Rinto? Into a 6. Let's see if Dan reads this and is able to set off. Nope.
He was, and he blocked off his yellow trigger there too.
Yeah, come on,
Probably
Dan.
looking to drop a yellow from the column 5, but unable to get anything in time.
We saw in the last set. We saw in the last set 0-3 to 3-3 to a set win. We gotta see what Dan's got up his sleeve.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, really. Dan's not really seeming to go for these flexible harass builds this time around. And if he's hoping to slug it out versus Rinto in just a chain battle... Oh, here we go. Sending off main.
Yeah, I think Rinto's chains haven't been very long, so Dan's just trying to make sure he gets something of decent substance off here.
Yeah. A 10 chain here for Dan, though. And how many we got? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Power 9? 9 double?
No, that's a 10 double.
10 double. And that's gonna overpower Dan. Needs 6 here
That
to
looks
live.
good, though.
5. The extra power in the middle links is able to survive.
That's gonna drown Rinto out fairly well there.
Rinto folds. Here it is. The reverse sweep.
Are we reversing back?
Identical builds, almost. Optimal player when you know both top players are going for the same thing. I think Dan's in a little bit of a stronger position here, more adaptable. Because Rinto's kind of locked into the first floor main chain.
And
tanks and sets it off.
Yeah, that's right into the main chain. That's going to be a chain only, and...
But Dan doesn't really spend much time extending here.
Dan's got a longer chain already.
Here it is, 3-2.
Reverse sweep, here we come.
Yeah, well, I guess what's really been the change here for these two players?
I don't think much has changed on the side of Rinto. I think Dan has just realized that Rinto hasn't brought out much of the early game aggression, and he hadn't been able to respond to the somewhat weaker main chains that Rinto put out in the first 2 rounds.
And Rinto's just getting sealed up here. Relentless from Dan. No mercy. That was such a good, well-timed 2 double from Dan. Really put the pressure on Rinto there. And is this? This is it.
And now Dan is really going for an aggressive.
Here's the
build.
Hoover Dan, as I like to call it. You know, there's the dam stacking for building your power chains. But what Dan's been working on is this adaptable, super beefy, powerful power chain form that can convert into a long chain too.
And Rinto is going into their main chain. Let's see what Dan can stretch out of this one.
Yeah, because Dan put on the pressure, but I don't know
and
if
he
this
decides
is
he's got enough there, but
he's out of
those
time.
greens cutting does hurt the power quite a bit, and I don't know if it would have been enough anyways.
Yeah, almost a moon left over. I think Dan needed a little bit more time warming up. the Hoover Dan form a little bit. But match point for Rinto. Let's see if Dan can claw it back.
Hey, you always gotta love it when you see players bringing out their own forms, though, even if they don't end up working out. Get a little bit of variety.
Yeah, and that's what makes these things hype, man. Is seeing the innovation come out. Because, you know, anyone can build a GTR in, you know, oh, GTR versus GTR. Tell me something new. And that's what Dan's doing. Love to see it. Thank you, Dan. 10 chain coming out though. I
think Rinto's tail ends at those yellows.
But that's a pretty beefy 9th link.
Yeah,
and that's gonna take
the double up of the yellows does take the set for him.
That was such an exciting set. Yeah. Because Dan really kicked it up in the middle there, and we're able to see Rinto, you know, take those few rounds on the chin and recover and ultimately clutch out the set. Next up, we got Meepssheep and omegagon on stream, flipping through the bracket a little bit. And this is actually going to be a losers match here that we've got. Because round 2, Yoshi takes it over Meepssheep 5-2. Void and Kirby combo still in progress. And as we could tell from this next matchup, Anameru took it over omegagon 5-3. We'll go on to face Hiku. And in the loser side, Icy Soapy takes it over Spider 5-0. Goose's Gate takes it over Pokemon Fan 5-1. And KZN over Banu 5-0.
And we are waiting on the results for omegagon and Nenny.
Versus Nenny? Might want to refresh your bracket there, boyfreda.
Okay, I just did refresh it, but now it has showed up. I see it now.
All right. Meepssheep, it is a tragedy that we don't have a browser. That one is a little past me.
And omegagon says, "You are cool."
Oh, it got cut off. Okay, gotcha. Check VC chat. Okay. Browser game called Ratio.
The tragedy that we don't have a browser game called Ratio.
Truly a tragedy. I don't know. I wouldn't play that game. It's not my bag.
It sounds like it'd be a math game, and I wouldn't be about that.
Ratio, not based. But yeah, Meepssheep and omegagon I haven't seen too much of, and so I'm going into this with fresh eyes. I don't know how much you know about these guys, boyfreda, but apparently this is a pretty spicy losers match, and we're diving right in.
I am not too familiar with these players, so I'm excited about what I'm going to see here. And Meep going off with a Fran form from the start, and
Omega with Mary Dodai.
But he converted that into a real strong attack, and that's going to hurt Meep a lot.
Yeah, Meep's out of space here, and it's a tough dig back down to columns 1 and 2, where most of his Puyos are.
So I guess we're gonna stray away from the GTRs with this match.
And, you know, we love variety. So, speaking of which, Meep going right back into the GTR, which more power to you. But again, with the big aggression from omegagon, this time Meepssheep is a little more ready, 5-chain to counter. Meepssheep says, fool me once.
And no counter from omegagon. Yeah, omegagon said, you know, if it worked the first time, you might as well go again, but Meep learned. And that's what you have to do in this game. You have to adapt to what these players are doing to you.
Right. And that note from Kyobi, I'm remembering now, because it, you know, plug for Kyobi, it's been a little while since I've been to his Puyo weekly review, but anytime there's a chain problem in the review, Meepssheep is in the chat pointing out how you would go about building that chain in the other direction. So we're gonna see if any of that flexibility and you know, madman energy comes in from Meep in this set.
It'll be interesting to see. And that's a good dig from Meep to counter omegagon's 3-chain.
Drops half a line on Meepssheep here. 3-chain.
And omegagon was looking pretty okay to accept that damage there.
Yeah, that tall column 3 makes it really easy to defend and counter against incoming garbage. Able to send a 4-chain back when Meepssheep's already spent a bunch of Puyos on that initial attack. That's the stuff you gotta be watching out for when you smell an attack coming in.
And I think I see a tendency sometimes in some of those situations for players to rush out attacks a little bit quicker than they need to.
Missed all clear though. Unfortunately, the extra line of garbage dropping on omegagon seals off his opportunity to get an all clear.
But I like the decision to hold on to that chain, and it really paid off.
Yeah, you know, in some world that you know you can really feel the tension of, oh man, I just lost my all clear, but you really gotta have that composure to remember, like, okay, maybe going for an all clear isn't the end all be all, which is a terrible opinion. I think always go for all clears. Pretty nice, solid sandwich going for omegagon here. Just, you know, zigzagging down through the Puyos. We're gonna have
Meep has 7-8 and no yellow there.
Oh man,
unfortunately for omegagon.
Yeah, you really hate to see that, because you know they were so ready to extend, but they just needed a yellow to set that all off.
It's a shame too when you see those successful extensions come out and then you get burned on the colors at the end.
Yeah, and you know, in a departure from our last couple of sets, this has been trading back and forth pretty evenly. We're at 3-2 right now, omegagon in the lead. And it seems like neither player has had like any definitive, you know, X factor over the other.
Oh no, both players have been making solid plays and getting solid wins on the other.
Yeah. And we're starting to see, you know, more of these 3-4 chains in the middle coming out, and not like direct commitments to main chain.
That's what I like to see the most out of this game, because that's when you can really catch people the most, especially if you have a good eye on their board. If you can read your opponent's board, you have plenty of time during those harassment battles to figure out just exactly their board states and what you're going to need to do with your board to be able to counter what they may have coming.
Yeah, and absolutely. Going back to the first round, we're seeing another front from Meep here, and it's unclear whether and how well omegagon's able to read Meep's board. Because that first round, Meep just got blindsided by a big power chain early on, and we didn't really see exactly how proficient Meep's front building is. And we're kind of
No,
seeing...
we kind of saw him transfer more to the GTR after that.
Yeah, and so, you know, match point falls back to the front.
That's a good return there.
Yeah. Didn't work out
match
here.
point, unfortunately for Meepssheep. And good job to omegagon.
Yeah, that was a solid fight from both players. But it is what it is in GTR lower rounds. First to 5, it's rough, but we love to watch it. And yeah, shoutouts to Icy Soapy for saving the stream last GTR. You know, Kyobi had a little bit of a hiccup, but Icy, who's in bracket right now, fighting for his tournament life, booted up the stream in place. Big shoutouts, big props. And
it looks like omegagon, who just won that match, will go on to face DDR Dan in the losers bracket, who beat KZN 5-1.
Wow. I did not I expected that to be a much closer match, but these things happen, and you know, these matchups, you never know.
There's a lot. These players are very good, and if you make even the slightest mistakes, some of these players will just capitalize on it.
And like, even if it's not like a strictly gameplay thing, even if you're just not feeling it a little bit, they know.
You can kind of tell when, especially when you play some of these players quite frequently, you can sometimes tell when they're off a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, KZN, who is usually got that sort of cheeky, playful energy, doesn't seem to have that same sort of spring in his step this time around, at least in that last match we saw. And you know, maybe that was the name of the game versus Dan here.
It seemed they were getting caught a little bit too much in the mid game, without really being able to respond with substantial enough chains.
Good run nonetheless to KZN. We would love to see you next time.
Very good player nonetheless. And it looks like we're actually going to be spectating DDR Dan versus omegagon next.
Yeah. Another match for Omega here. You know, we've seen KZN play, we've seen Dan play, we've seen Omega play. Let's see what Dan's picked up since the last round that was able to wipe out KZN 5-1. Because I guess, you know, last game was a little bit of a scrap between Omega and Meep. Let's see if Dan's able to, what Dan's response to that sort of scrapping energy is.
We'll see if we see any of that what were you calling it? The DDR Dam?
The Hoover Dan, you know, like the Hoover Dam.
The Hoover Dan.
It's something I made up, but you know, he seems to like the name, so I'm glad. It makes me happy.
That 3-chain is going to do a little bit of damage there.
Yep. Not the worst dig, though. Well, now it's pretty bad.
It's getting a little bit worse.
Had a little window, but just absolutely plugged up by Dan.
Yeah, Dan took very good advantage of that.
Yeah, really recognizing sort of the pace at which Omega is able to build given their garbage, and sort of making those shorter chains to capitalize on that sort of time loss.
I was a little confused on that placement there from omegagon, but they just fixed it up anyways.
Yeah.
And I think that pays off for them because they got a larger chain than Dan, who...
Yeah, that was kind of a questionable decision to set off that main chain right there.
Especially after good recognition to and speed on those harassments in the first round.
Clear? All clear?
Oh yeah, look at that, all clear though.
Oh yeah. Omega's gotta be feeling kind of silly. That's just what happens when you miss an all clear.
It definitely does hurt. How did I not see that coming, you know?
Right?
How many times have I trained
all
for
clear
this?
chance? All clear chance? Dan skips it. Still has a beefy power chain on deck. Here it is.
He was waiting for...
quadruple!
Yeah, that was brilliant. He waited right for omegagon to cover up his GTR trigger, and he took that moment to send it.
Yeah, you know, Dan's just like prowling Omega's house, like looking through the windows, checking when the garage door closes, and it's like, all right, nobody's home, I'm coming in.
That's a good way of putting it.
Sneaky play right there. But Omega's got to start respecting that capability that Dan has. And you know, Dan's really been effective in picking out these shorter chains to sort of deconstruct.
And that's yeah, you might want to send that off there. It took out a lot of his chain tail, but that was quite a harassment. And yeah.
They were able to rally back down the garbage to under a rock, while Omega said, I've had enough. I have nothing else. I'm setting this off. And Dan was still looking to play around, but
I think with his chain tail being a little bit destroyed there too after that harassment, he had to work a little bit for it.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe Omega's feeling a little more confident now, bringing it back up to 2-3. No more sneaky wins in the last couple from Dan, and so that's gotta improve your confidence a little bit, right?
Omegagon filled up the whole screen there to set that chain off.
Dan finds the red purple though.
Purple's cut though.
In column 5, unfortunate. That was gonna be a big chain. All clear start though.
Is this the first straight up all clear start we've seen?
I think it is, but Dan might be angling to get another one? Almost. Not quite.
Not quite, but that was a lot of damage.
Yeah, and you know, that differential in power, dropping 3 lines of garbage on Omega's board, really sets him back a little bit. Dan takes advantage of that extra time, and you know, is just able to set off a 6 chain there, and really difficult to build back from that on Omega's board with that much garbage.
Yeah, there's too much garbage in too many inconvenient places.
But you know, that's those all clear starts. You know, sometimes you can just brush those off a little bit. As like, that was a fluke, you know?
Good catch from omegagon, and I think the 5 double beats it out here.
Yeah, and well, 6 lines, it's still possible. Omega's applying pressure here, still survivable. And that's gonna seal it. Match point, universe point, 4-4. Loser leaves the tourney.
It's all on the line for these players.
And then you have to remember, these guys lost to, you know, they got put into losers by somebody else. And these are some of the best players that are on the scene. And we've got three chain Dan. 2 lines of garbage.
Those greens are
but this is diggable.
Yep.
This is diggable
those
for Omega.
Are very helpful. And
gets
just
the
in
purples
time
in
as
time.
well.
So close to getting drowned out.
And that's not the whole chain either.
Yeah, still room to build for Omega.
And Dan doesn't have oh wait, no.
Oh, but Omega's chain didn't seem super accessible. And Dan takes the set off of that.
Solid match, especially when you're able to come back and make it to match point there.
Yeah, impressive run back from Omega. At like the start, you know, feeling pressure from Dan, doing Dan tricks. Didn't crumble under the pressure, and ultimately delivered us a fantastic set.
You have to be able to keep yourself composed when those sorts of things happen.
Absolutely.
Not let them get to your head.
Next up on stream, we got Void versus Anameru. Elsewhere in the bracket,
we had Anameru take out Hiku 5-4.
So we'll see Hiku and losers versus Icy next. And then Void taking out Kirby Combo 5-0 coming into this next match on the stream. This is it. This is top 8, barring we're still waiting on the winner of Hiku and Icy. But this is it. And
these are your players.
These guys are in the points for Advent ranking. How many is it? First place from GTR is gonna pick up 16 points. Second is gonna pick up 8. Third and fourth, 4 points, and everyone else, just for registering, you get 1 point.
A nice little consolation prize.
All right, bird fact from Void. Look up Ross's Turako. You won't regret it. If Kyobi's gonna be looking for that, I'm curious. And Anameru, Princess Peach, yes. Yeah. Anameru is a pretty skilled artist. If you can find her Twitter.
I think I saw she posted a drawing of Princess Peach just yesterday or earlier today.
Yeah, Peach on the brain for sure. Jumping into the match though, let's see what these players have in store for us. So far, I feel like Void's sort of holding his cards close to his chest a little bit. Coming out with a 3-chain though.
And Anameru does not have a response for that, unfortunately.
Yep, out of space and gonna get finished off by Void here.
Void gave Anameru a little bit of time, but unfortunately, there's just a little bit
there
left.
There it is.
To take down.
Ross's Turako. Look at that absolute unit. Beautiful. Thank you, Kyo. Anyways, I think Void here is saying, okay, well, the last round went pretty well. you know, I don't have to do anything different. It's on Anameru to show me that they can fight me.
That looks like a purple cut, unfortunately for Anameru though.
Yeah, and that's the main chain response.
And
oh,
that's
blue
a blue cut for Void as well.
Mistake from Void gonna cost him that round. And you know, maybe now he's saying, yeah, Anameru's got some claws. Gonna have to tread a little more carefully.
I hadn't caught it, but it might have been as well that his blues were already going to cut, and he was forced into that.
Oh, you're saying he ran out of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might have had his blues already cutting.
But big triple is gonna send over a rock on Anameru's side.
I'm expecting to see a lot of mid-game aggression from Void especially, and hopefully Anameru can keep up with some of these attacks.
And you know, we're in top 8 now, and so these sets are gonna go a little longer. How many is it? 8? 7? Anyways, we're gonna see a little more player versus player dynamic in these top 8 sets. So very excited to see how these guys are fighting. Oh, okay. First stage is only top 3. Gotcha.
Anameru's chain is looking quite beefy. Void's going to... Oh, but that's an unfortunate little cut there.
Yeah, I totally didn't read that either. I thought Anameru's chain was going all the way to the first floor. In which case that would have been easily overpowering Void's. Uh-oh. Are we seeing a little bit of shenanigans from Void here? I guess not. Going back into a regular sandwich, I was thinking Void might have wanted to go for a big power chain, just to again catch Anameru off guard in a potentially risky situation. But Anameru is still chaining very well. Going for the red extension, and
not nearly enough time for that one.
Yeah. 4-1, Void's up. This is match point. Unfortunately, not the long set like I was hoping for, but still a good showcase nonetheless.
Anameru needs to find a way to deal with these attacks that Void is delivering.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much of that equation is just not making, being a little more mindful about their commitments. Huge 6 length from Void.
Oh, just enough time to get that red there. And...
But power 5
I can't quite tell, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
I don't think that's it. That's the set for Void. Off the back of that meaty pop. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Anameru's still not out of it. She's going to the loser's bracket.
There's still a chance, and you know, now there's that data point versus Void, like feeling it out. How's Void playing today? He's gonna do this? Well, I've got all of losers to try and run it back, get that second shot at countering that gameplay.
We can give a point to Anameru for getting the first win and only win against Void so far out of his 3 sets.
Yeah, no sweepies on stream. We love to see that. And what do we got here? Hiku versus Kirby combo happening right now. I think we've got quite a bit of time to just kind of unpack this whole tournament while we're waiting for other matches to wrap up, because our next matchup on stream is going to be winners finals first to 8 versus Void versus the winner of Yoshi versus Rinto.
We've definitely...
Oh, change of plans. We're going to losers. So we've got another dose of Anameru coming up versus DDR Dan. And this is actually the perfect test for Anameru, because Dan also has that aggression aspect where he's able to easily pivot between those long chains and those beefy power chains. So if Anameru's studied up on her previous loss and got a feel for that pace, this could be a spicy match.
And the thing about Dan too is that Dan is very good at oftentimes reading when he should use his attacks and when they're not good enough.
Yeah, and so far the weak point as of this tourney for Dan is sometimes his build's a little overcommitted and it doesn't leave him a lot of room to convert back to a long chain. So I think if Anameru is able to provide enough pressure to force Dan into that kind of like panic state, things could go very well for her.
Anameru had some very good chaining in the last match.
Yeah, very solid chaining. And you know, the last set, it was down to the exceptional timing of the attacks from Void.
So if Anameru is able to get some of her chains off, then it may just put a little bit of pressure on Dan.
Yeah. But that's not to say that Dan's warmed up, not warmed up now, because it could very well be that, risky extend for Anameru. That's not to say that Dan...
It's a very good extend,
yeah. There was a little window in there that might have been real bad, but it pays off. Anameru is able... Oh, red cut though. Only a 9 chain for Anameru. And that's gonna be overpowered easily by a 10 double from Dan.
Not enough time for Anameru to build a response there. Although the resources probably could have provided something given a few seconds.
Yeah, but going into the second round here, I think here it is, the Hoover Dan. Going for that potential triple. Is he gonna send it here? Actually, no, that's a quadruple if he sets off this green. Doesn't go for it, covers it up with the blue. And now
that double
Dan's...
blue came just in time without leaving that too terribly covered.
And you know, Dan's reloaded now, but he has to fight off Anameru's main chain here. Let's see how he can get this main extend.
Yellows, I don't know if I agree with that decision from Dan.
This is what I was talking about before. You know, Dan sometimes gets stuck into these situations where he has half his board committed to a power attack, but suddenly realizes, oh, I have to turn this into a long chain. But if you don't succeed the first time, try again. We see Dan setting up another big attack. Again, opting to extend, which is the right choice here. Luckily, he hasn't committed too much yet. All clear for Anameru though. That's Pog. That triple.
It was smart of Dan to recognize the length of Anameru's chain and extend, but unfortunately not able to get enough out of it.
Yeah, the triple at the end, you know, if that had gone to just 3 extra links instead of the power, that might have allowed him to survive.
And that's the problem sometimes when you're looking at too much power in your builds in the early game. If the other person can respond with a lengthy chain.
Yeah, Dan's saying, "Oh, you thought I wasn't gonna go for early aggression because I didn't do my power build, but you're wrong. I'm still sending you this 3 chain. Hold this."
Definitely
and out
a
of that rally,
play.
yeah, out of that rally, he's able to get a 5 chain, and you know, maybe Anameru is able to set off here, but it's only a
But
4.
no yellow.
And so I guess we've moved on sort of into the mid game of this set where both players have sort of revealed things that they're strong at, and this is where like the adaptation starts.
I think both players have revealed a little bit of weakness too, so it's up to the other player to adapt to recognize those sorts of things as well.
This is honestly the best kind of set, I think. Main chain from Dan. Waiting for a red.
Anameru has the red.
And 6 versus 5. One line on Dan's board. Gonna send a response, but that might be a little lengthy.
Anameru doesn't get a green.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunate.
That was definitely a risk for both players. And Anameru just got unlucky. I'm wondering though, you know, what's sort of the game plan now for both players? Because again, first to 5 is not too much time to gather data, but at the same time we've seen a good amount of variance in both players' play.
It seems for the most part Anameru has relied on mostly being able to form some sort of lengthy chain, while Dan has definitely varied a little bit in what he's doing.
Yep. And Dan spent a little bit of time trying to figure out how to dig out of that one, and that just gave Anameru time to bury him.
That was a good attack from Anameru all the way at the top of the board there.
Yeah, excellent recognition that Dan was stalling out a little bit.
And I think that's what I probably will expect to see both players try to do at this point in the match, because the early game aggression really hasn't worked out too well for Dan, so I don't really see him trying to return too much to it.
And you know, that also makes me wonder if we do get the Anameru Void run back, how's that gonna fold out? You know, because it seems like Anameru's done a better job of playing that sort of early aggression pace.
Oh, Anameru just made a mistake with those yellows, unfortunately.
Oh no, the yellows in column 3 cut and the chain doesn't continue. Only a 5 there, but we're up to 4-3 now. And Anameru fighting for a tournament life here. Dan looking to move on.
And Anameru had the space. I'm not sure. Maybe she just didn't recognize she was making a mistake there, but she built off the yellow that was needed there for her trigger point, and that's unfortunate because I think she had a nice looking chain.
Yeah, and you know, getting kind of stuck cleaning out those extra Puyos. Dan's just walk in, and say, I'll take this dub. Well played to both players though. Of course, Dan moving on. And sending Anameru packing, but excellent play. Next we got winners finals in the clash between Yoshi and Rinto, the hedgehog versus
the dinosaur.
Well, the furs, as we would have it, the Furberge League added again. The furs take it this time, and now we've got the furs versus the birds. Yoshi versus Void. It's hard to believe that was There it is, Rasus Tarako. Thank you. It's hard to believe that little three-way league was it February? January, February. You know, between the three of them, Yoshi, Void, and Rinto, they were playing first 30s just about every day. That is a lot of Puyo every day. And so, you know, that league's been over for a little while. And since then, they've played in friendlies and in tournaments here and there. Let's see what the state of the matchup is today. Those waffles are going down, by the way, for Yoshi. Let's go.
That is the type of commitment that I just don't have to this game either. Because my endurance will run out after about a first to 20, and I'll need at least like 10 minutes of a break before I get into another game.
These guys, they are simply built different.
This is definitely going to be a very, very good matchup.
Yep.
Both players are very good at chaining, and both players are very good with their mid-game strategies.
Absolutely. You know, this is where sort of the finesse in your decision making really starts to shine when you have so much such great command over your chain building. You know, you can actually start to make decisions on, you know, how much power you want to send in each one.
And that was something I've seen Yoshi talking about on Twitter, is being able to really read your opponent's state when you harass them. He had a really good read on Void's chain there, and knew that it was actually going to be really difficult to get. Even though Void didn't receive a lot of damage, it was very difficult.
Yeah, weird pop though at the beginning for Yoshi, and that's definitely gonna take a little bit of time to kind of like realize, like, oops, wait, what was I supposed to build? But Void has a pretty powerful last link here. Double into triple.
And that's a whole moon of damage there.
Yeah, and you know, part of me wonders, like, was Yoshi expecting that chain to be longer just glancing at the number of Puyos on the board? Because, you know, if each of those grooves had popped as an individual link, that would have given Yoshi a good amount of time to fix whatever he was building.
Yeah, but when you get those strong power chains, when they're just a little bit shorter like that, that time advantage really does pay off.
Yep, absolutely. And so we'll see if Yoshi's a little more careful on the chain reads going through the next games. Again, this is winners finals, so this is actually going to be first to 8.
Both players seem to be opting for mostly GTRs, but I think that was pretty much expected.
And Void trying for... He's very close to an all clear. Oh, he's hunting? Okay, yellows came out, but he was close.
Void getting the good read on Yoshi that time.
Yeah. And let's see if Void's kind of ready to convert. Yep. Beefy one chain here, drops a line and a half on Yoshi. Doesn't affect too much though. Yoshi's able to tank that pretty easily and send back retaliation of his own.
Yeah, he was able to very smartly use that time for harassment to clear all the damage.
3 chain versus main chain though. Let's see if Yoshi can get a red extend or if he just goes for the red pop.
Those purples cut.
Oh, unfortunate.
He could not send that.
That would have been a great counter.
It was very smart from Yoshi though to clear up all that space with the harassment because he was able to add a lot to his tail there.
Yeah, and part of that, you know, if the pieces had worked out a little better, that was actually pretty appropriate pressure versus Void right there. And so, you know, I think that's a perfectly fine strategy. We'll see if Yoshi kind of sticks to that, or if they decide that
Void's going right into their main chain.
Main here.
And so is
again,
Yoshi, it looks like.
This is gonna be another powerful tail, or powerful 9 here.
Yoshi has a 13 though. That's gonna be enough to counter.
Yeah. Void folds. And we're tied up 3-3.
And there's a strong chain I was expecting to see out of one of these matchups. I knew we were gonna get there at some point.
Yeah. And I guess the question to ask is, does Void feel like he wants to play that game versus Yoshi, or does he want to try to drive the pace onto his own terms? So,
and Void with a really nice thorn there, but unfortunately doesn't actually cover.
Yeah, Yoshi was able to get those blues in column 1 just in time. You know, if column 1 had gotten a couple of lines of garbage there, that would have given plenty of room to Void to pressure and potentially just drown Yoshi.
That blue-purple is might have been just the thing that he needed there to set that chain off. That was a hard extend there. I didn't see if there was a problem on the front end. Maybe that was why he didn't send it.
But you know, first to 8. This isn't match point anymore, and you know, this gives you a little bit of room to breathe, to be calm, be peaceful, make good decisions. And the decision we're gonna see here is a 4-chain harass from Void versus. Oh my goodness! I thought
that was
4.
That was an unfortunately bad read for Yoshi, who didn't realize that his harassment was already beat.
Yeah, I thought that power 3 was gonna offset a lot more than it actually did.
And in Void's, I think it was the red linking, the 4th linking was very large.
And Void still has opportunity to set off 4-chain here, off the reds in column 3. And Yoshi is a little bit committed to the first floor here, to main chain. We'll see if he's able to pressure Void and sort of convert that back, but uh-oh, what's happening on Void's board?
That was a bit of an all-in attack, a bit too much of an all-in attack there. On destroying the chain tail, and that's a very nice chain for Yoshi as well.
Yeah, 9.
Another 13 chain.
That 9 chain is just gonna give Yoshi too much time to, you know, even just read the board and say, okay, I can do this. This is easy. Bringing it back 4-5.
That's the problem with those chains that that break down a little bit like that at that late of a stage in the game. The other player is going to be able to recognize.
But power 2 into a 4. Yoshi's cleanup was ill-timed over there. Void sneaks that one out. And I wonder if this little bit of war of attrition with these cheeky attacks, I wonder if that's sort of sunk in yet for Yoshi. Like, I have to like put my foot down and do something about this. And that was actually a very good timed 2-chain there. Forces out a 3 from Void. And into main from Yoshi. And Void's not building off an entirely clean board either.
Yeah, that's getting a little bit difficult, but he is able to send it off there, and Yoshi didn't have the longest of chains.
Right, but Void is still kind of didn't get full use out of all the Puyos in column 1 either.
Yeah,
so this is gonna be close.
Wow, that was actually on the chain. That was an even
yeah, that was
even damage. That's kind of funny.
Pretty much a clean counter, but unfortunately, in the time that it took Void to set off a chain, Yoshi built up his second and was able to seal the deal.
Yeah, you definitely don't want a clean counter as the guy responding.
Yeah. So I think that was really a sign of Yoshi getting comfortable with this sort of aggressive pace. Because I think what really did Void in that round was, you know, they got pretty carried away with the smaller attacks, and that kind of left Void in a board that was difficult to build out of.
And what has been providing Void with the most wins has been those attacks, like beating out like a 3 double with a nice power 4 chain.
Yeah.
Or a 4 chain beating a 2 double and things like that. But really, what's provided Yoshi with their wins has been the chain length, the overall stronger chains.
Right. And so, you know, both approaches are completely valid. And so what I'm thinking here, oh, hold on, we've got a power 2 into a 3 here for Void.
But
good
that's
response.
a very long, nice 5 chain response from Yoshi, and
yeah,
Void does not have enough time.
No purples, unfortunately. Needed that next piece to set it off. But I'm wondering, you know, there has to be some big element of chain recognition at play here. Again, consciously making those decisions of how big of an attack to send, when to send that attack. Both players clearing out their all clear bonuses right away, though. I think Void's still...
Yeah, Yoshi has set up a 2 double attack, and...
And Void was almost primed for an all clear. Still has that group of greens left over. But Void has a lot of space now. What is he gonna do with it?
And the damage has definitely put him in a much advantageous spot to Yoshi. Although that Thorn was very nice.
Yeah, that really slows down Void's development here by a lot. He's forced to set off 2 chains now to clean it back up.
Unfortunately for Yoshi, though, they're still having a bit of difficulty getting down to the stuff in the first 2 columns.
And I think that was a really unfortunate...
That's a very good attempt, though.
Oh, yeah.
Those purples, unfortunately, don't connect with the garbage.
It was a bit of an unfortunate bag for Yoshi because they actually had a lot of time to potentially extend, because Void's chain back there wasn't the biggest, and so definitely a gamble from both players to make their respective attacks there.
And we saw Void come in with the aggression first, but not very strong, and Yoshi was immediately ready with him with a 2 double. Although this is a bit of the wrong call from Yoshi, because Void had a very easy way to dig down to his main chain.
Yeah, and there's no easy way for Yoshi to set anything off right now. Gets in from the reds actually with the 3-1 stairs. That's a sizable chain, It didn't look like much at first.
Unfortunately.
And wow, that was 7-7. That's the set.
That's the set for Void.
What a rally.
Very good play from both of these players, and these are our number 1 and 2 seeds. So you're expecting it to be very tight here.
And the best part about all that is, that was winners. So Yoshi is going back down to make a loser's run, and we might see another run back. But next up, we got Rinto versus Dan. And we're going to take a little bit of an ad break here. Plug all our events for Advent League coming up. We've got, of course, Great Tuesday Rumble. You're watching right now with me and boyfreda. Thanks y'all for coming. This is every other Tuesday. Same format. Double elims. Advent League ranking. Get your points. Get in here. It's free real estate.
It's free real estate.
And we've also got the Puyo Weekly Review, also hosted here on twitch.tv/Kyobi.
Quote unquote weekly.
Quote unquote weekly. We go over all sorts of match analysis. You know, you send in your Puyo replays, we'll break them down. We'll talk about, you know, what the situations are at each point, each round, what decisions get made, you know, hypothetical chain build, stuff like that. And it's a super useful tool if you're just getting into the game, talking it over with more experienced players, getting their perspective, and sort of reconciling it with what you understand. Super helpful tool. Also join Kyobi's Discord server. Also where you go to submit your match replays and Puyo advice in general. And another event happening out in June in Southern California, UC Irvine Esports Arena, WPL Championship, SoCal 2022. There will be Puyo Tetris 2 featured. For Puyo events, there will be mixed versus versus Tetris. Still ironing out whether or not we're going with 32-second margin time or some other rule set. Stay tuned for that. There will also be a swap bracket at this event. For more info, hit up Icy Soapy. He's got the lowdown on this information, but stay tuned for that. And we've also got our first Advent League Premier event. This is big points if you do well here. Perfect Clear Online is going to happen on May 6th. Signups on smash.gg. Do we have links in chat for all of these event signups? Might be nice to have those in there. Anyways, that's happening. That's going to be happening. I'm sure the bracket for that's going to be stacked as well, being a premier event and all.
Yeah, and because this is a premier event, the winner will qualify for the Advent League tournament.
Yep.
So there's a lot riding. There's a lot on the line here.
That being said, there's more coming down the pipeline in terms of ranking events, such as Puyo versus LATAM number 4. Got to join the Latin American server for this one for event coordination, but we've got Puyo 2 rules on Puyo VS on April 24th, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Be sure to check that out. And finally, we got Star Cup Infinity. This one, we got no Puyo in there, but as fellow members of the puzzle game community, we plug them. Open Tetrioc tournament, early round stock rule set. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific on April 23rd. If you are a fan of Tetris or Tetrio and Tetris in general. Check that out. Tetrio's free. Download that, make an account, get good, and we'll see you there.
Our puzzle gaming communities need to stick together.
For real. Right, so next up we got Rinto versus Dan. We haven't seen any Rinto, or well, no, wait, we've seen both of these guys play. This is gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see how they've warmed up into their runs respectively.
We have seen Rinto versus Dan already, actually.
That's right. What am I saying? I'm tripping. My B.
So this is a rematch for these two, and DDR Dan was the one who got knocked out to losers in the first time. So let's see if he can figure out what he needs to do to deal with Rinto this time around.
Yeah, and we'll see how hard Rinto is gonna lean into that all clear goodness, just for that psychological damage.
I remember the first match, we didn't see Rinto lean too heavily into that, so I'm wondering if we're going to see a change this time around.
Yeah, exactly. So far, though, I think we're not seeing too big of a departure yet. After all, it is only the first round of this first to 8 set. Losers semifinals. Winner of which will go on to face Void. Or Yoshi, I mean. In losers final.
I like the way Rinto got that 4th chain there and forced Dan into that. It gives him a little bit of time to... He needs one more blue though, and he's not... He barely gets it in time.
Oh man, that got me sweating. But this is gonna be a pretty hefty power chain.
Big
here
power right here.
8 triple into 9. It's gonna need another 9 from Dan, which he is nowhere near. Only able to manage a 5 double in the time. Off to a solid start for... well, I guess we've got the cards mixed on the overlay, but we got Rinto on the right-hand side, P2. We love our production team. They're the best.
They do a great job.
We appreciate their hard work. Please say thank you. 3 chain from Rinto. Gonna apply some pressure, but Dan calls it out.
And Rinto is just wasted a little bit of time there with that 1 chain burn. May have had enough time otherwise, but there's definitely a tight squeeze there because Dan's chain came out quick.
Right. And it was definitely a commit, that first attack from Rinto. Especially on these shorter length attacks on a smaller board. There's not really much room to, or you don't really have that much time to extend or counter necessarily, and so you gotta be quick on your feet.
You can't be burning a 1 chain after committing to an all-in attack like that, because you're only making it worse for yourself.
And right, so in that situation, you know, Dan had a pretty sizable amount of Puyos on his board, so he's like, yeah, you know, I can blow this. I can spend these Puyos on this chain right here. But I think we might be seeing...
It's a little bit of an interesting chain from Rinto.
Yeah, he's going
I'm trying to understand exactly what they were going for.
So Rinto does this thing where he sort of alternates his triggers a little bit, just trying to get really fast extensions that he's just like, I'll solve this later. And it's difficult to read if you're not used to it. At the same time, it carries the risk of you know, not actually, of having too many dependencies.
I see it now,
yeah,
with the blues and the purples, and the yellows are gonna hit there too in column 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that 8 double is gonna require like a 7 from Dan to live. doesn't
These
have that.
the one advantage for Rinto thus far with these powerful chains is that DDR Dan is always just a little bit behind and looking to get a second chain going, but he never has enough time because Rinto's chains just come and smack you.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally see that. And so, in this situation, what would you say, like, the game plan is? You know, you're obviously down on pace in that aspect. Is it like the recognition that you need to improve on? Or do you just need to change the pace altogether?
I think based off what I'm seeing, if Dan built, like, for example here, because Dan's some of Dan's harassments have been forcing Rinto into these chains as well that are you know, that one was they're quick, but they're not the most powerful. So if Dan is able to really build longer, more powerful chains, he should be able to handle some of these games a little bit better.
All right. Well, let's see if, you know, he's able to manifest that, because I think you're onto something with that. And Rinto with another not so legible pain here. Wonder if he's angling into smaller attacks for this one, because Dan's not quite committed to main chain either. Blues are still open in column 6 for Rinto. He sets off there. That's
a 4 chain. And Dan does not have enough time, although with that yellow-blue, that would have been a 5 chain on the next piece. Unfortunate.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. You know, is this an all clear? I think Rinto's fishing. He's sniffing. And
I don't know what he does with the blue in column 1 though.
Yeah. I have to say, it's some pretty good discipline from Rinto here, because, you know, he's said before, like, I have a problem.
Oh,
what happened there?
Just as you're talking about good discipline,
Oh, hold on. This. Oh, okay. This is still first to 5.
Because this is loser's bracket.
Yeah. Right. The next match versus Yoshi is going to be first to 8. That's right.
And Rinto, no, not finding what he wants. He's not finding anything.
Lost the motivation.
Good game, and good showing for both of these players, though.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a good set. And, you know, Dan holding steady. You know, don't change what ain't broke.
So we are down to our final 3 players then.
Yeah. And
we have Void sitting all alone in the winner's bracket. And we have a battle between Yoshi and DDR Dan to make their way back up.
Yeah, not quite the Fur Hog top 3, but almost. And, you know, sometimes almost it counts.
Well, and you know, Rinto was able to get DDR Dan that first time, but Dan was able to figure out what he needed to do to get Rinto the second time.
And well, it's late in the tournament, you know. We're in that was top 4, right? Playing all these matches is tough, even if they are like shorter first to 5s. You know, making those matchups, playing those games, risking your tournament life through the entire loser's run, that's tiring. It ain't easy.
As we did mention before, though, some of these players played a lot of first to 30s with each other. They are very good with that endurance, and that's what allows them to make it to these top placements in these tournaments to begin with.
Yeah. All right. let's see them keep their energy up here in top 3 losers finals. We'll see if Dan finally sets off his big early power chain. I just want to see it once. Come on, Dan, throw me a bone.
The Void looked like they had been setting something up for the power chain at the beginning. Now I think they've gotten a little confused on what they need to do.
Dan.
Or Dan.
Not Void yet. We'll be there soon.
Whoops.
Yeah, if Dan can get that power chain up somehow faster than Yoshi, then that's all clear. Let's go.
That's the kind of break Dan's been looking for with those early dams.
You know, 4 chain for Yoshi, able to send back, but still has a drop to contend with from the all clear bonus.
And Dan has plenty of space to work with, while Yoshi is running a bit thin.
Yeah. And that's not gonna dig because he doesn't have any yellows. I have to say, I think stacking up high in column 5 for Yoshi there in response to the all clear bonus might have been a little bit of a mistake. Going all the way to the top, because that of course cuts off your access to column 6. You'll have to do your flips over to get to that side, and so you're losing about like 6 Puyos worth of space there.
It's tough sometimes in those situations to know what you need, and pretty good read from Yoshi.
Yeah,
he knew Dan was gonna have a hard time getting down to anything substantial.
Yeah, that was like the right size pressure too.
And
that's
another
Hoover
another dam from Dan.
Triple this time.
But Yoshi is very
easily
quick to recognize
countered.
that. Very quick to recognize.
Dan getting ready to tank here.
Good
but
counter,
2 rocks.
but one piece short
yeah.
of the Puyo he needed.
But again, first to 8, you got a few rounds to play around with. And I have a feeling that, if it gets down to it, Dan's gonna go back to something more methodical, perhaps.
Dan is definitely committing to these dam builds, though. These power builds.
Yep. And gonna be tricky to deal with the fact that his tail is really chunky.
I really like the way Yoshi just did that for the 3 chain.
And the thing here is it forces Dan to set off the main chain, which has that really beefy tail, but it's ultimately going to be short versus Yoshi's chain. But actually, Yoshi's broke his tail quite a bit.
Yeah, Yoshi's tail broke down quite a little bit there, though.
It was a great idea, though, to sort of bait out and force that shorter chain. If he had gotten that full chain to work.
I always like to play if you can find a clean way when you're at the top to convert what you're doing into a harassment instead of just committing to the main line. And Dan quick again, and Yoshi does not have a red to connect that tail.
Yep, that third link wasn't there for Yoshi, and that means he's missing out on the rest of his chain and forced to take a lot of garbage here.
Dan definitely quick to the attacks too, knowing the state that Yoshi's in, and these are very strong quick attacks that Yoshi's unable to deal with.
And the only thing Yoshi had on his board at the moment was would have been a power chain to counter Dan's attack, and that would have left him with an empty, really no ammunition left. And so that was just a good spot for Dan all around. Another 2 triple
That was a good play by Yoshi though, to hold that GTR trigger open,
Yeah.
knowing that Dan has been putting this early pressure on for the past few rounds.
Yeah, I think at some point soon, Dan has to realize that Yoshi is able to chain much faster than he's able to attack early on, and you kind of see that here. Dan's gone back to GTR to try and slug it out on chain length and more mid-game battles.
That's really awkward for Yoshi, who's not got a bad yellow, and has wasted a bunch of time and resources, unfortunately.
Yeah, that popping that column 2 and breaking the GTR, that's always an awkward situation to try and fix that.
And Dan was onto the full chain anyways, so there might have been some way to figure out how to make a chain work instead of sending off that attack.
So interesting little option select from Dan here. It almost looked like he was gonna go for Hoover Dan, but converts it back into,
really into the main chain.
Yeah, proper first floor. Able to get the 9 to counter. Gonna need a 10 from Yoshi to live, I think.
And that looks like an 11 actually.
Oh,
that's plenty of extra damage.
Yeah. Needs an 8 to counter here for Dan. Not able to find that. This is such a tight set. We're at 5-4 right now. Just going back and forth at it.
And the past few rounds, Yoshi has definitely had the strength of being able to poke and prod and get Dan into those full chains with decent sized attacks, and then have the time to build up afterwards to beat out Dan's main chain.
Power chain here for Dan. Not committing to the main yet versus Yoshi, who says...
Yeah, that's the reverse this time. Dan has been able to force Yoshi into his main chain, which is only a 9, and Dan has an 11, 10.
Oh, he's gonna live. But Yoshi's not too far off. Only takes 3 lines from that. This is still anyone's game.
It's not a super comfortable spot for Yoshi, though. Dan has a lot of resources, a lot of space.
Yeah, he's ready to tank a couple lines. Sets off on the blue trigger for Dan.
And that's not the whole chain, but it looks like enough.
Yeah.
And 5-5.
Dan mixing it up with some aggression, maybe? But Yoshi's GTR is wide open here.
It's unfortunate for Dan on some of these aggressive plays he's making. As you saw there, he had a very strong attack with the purple trigger, but he did not get a 4th purple for quite a while.
Oh,
and that just allowed Yoshi to have all the time to build up, something to respond with.
Excellent recognition as well from Yoshi, not covering up columns 1 and 2 on the GTR right away. Seeing that there's such a risk for a quick attack, he kept that open, and that's how he was able to counter.
Oh, that is
power 2 for power 2. Line and a half for Yoshi.
Yoshi's definitely in an okay position now, especially when you're able to follow up with another attack that quickly.
Yeah.
And that's looking like it's going to seal the deal.
Yeah.
That is something I've noticed with Yoshi. Yoshi's using very good restraint. When they don't focus on the front end of the tail or the front of the chain, and they build the tail first, they they practice a lot of restraint in keeping the column open so that they can send the tail when they receive damage from Dan.
Yeah.
They receive those aggressive attacks.
Really just brilliant play all around from both sides. We're gonna see main from Yoshi.
Unfortunately, Dan's chain's looking a little bit better.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see
what he was going for with that.
I would have liked to see Yoshi hit the yellow in column 6 and send that that power 2 chain instead as a harassment, so they can clean up their board and get something a little bit better out of that.
But then again, it's match point for Yoshi. That's an all clear. Let's go.
That's an all clear.
Dan with power 3. That's nothing. It's over.
And the rotation of defeat.
Wow. Yoshi really clutched that one out. Or like pulled ahead. You know, it was going back and forth. It was a heated battle, but I feel like a few mistakes, consistent mistakes, just kind of piled up over time in Yoshi's favor.
And Yoshi was very prepared for the aggressive attacks that Dan was dishing out.
Yep. Definitely gonna be probably, I would say, the most analytical players. Well, no, scratch that. Both of these guys, I would say, are the most analytical players in the Western scene. You know, Dan's incredibly like mathematical and numerical about his strategies, and Yoshi has just incredible chain vision, and also like well, I guess both of them also have a lot of exposure to Japanese play as well. But let's talk about this next match. We got Yoshi versus Void here.
And one of the things I like the most about Yoshi's play that I expect to see a little bit more in this match with Void is Yoshi is very, very flexible in the middle stages of the game with the way they build their chains, recognizing you know what kind of attacks they're receiving from the opponent, so that they're never too worried about how they're particularly building at any one point in the middle. They're always flexible enough that they can stretch into their main chain or find a way around it.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, that's not to say that Void is no slouch either, because I think, you know, Void has the same capabilities. It's just a different perspective that causes the pace at which he plays to be look a little different than Yoshi. And sometimes that comes out as just like unga bunga 2 triple in your face, have a nice day sort of thing. But really excited to see how this matchup shapes up in the grand finals.
Yeah, and I suppose if Yoshi wins this first set, then
that's a bracket reset. Yeah,
we'll have a bracket reset, and that'll actually be 3 sets between these 2 players tonight.
So let's get into it. Void,
2 double from Void, and that kind of forces Yoshi right into the main chain. Void is looking for some yellows that they're not really getting, and
they've got it now.
That's kind of sealed off now.
No! That was really unfortunate that it took so long for those yellows to come.
You know, yeah, you would think it was early enough that you thought there was enough time, but when you throw enough pieces down and it fills everything up,
you can't flip them over anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, that you could chalk up to just one round, no big deal, and I don't think it'll really affect the flow of the match too much yet. We'll just have to wait and see. Void's board is getting chopped in half here.
Too much pressure from Yoshi, who recognizes that that board state was quickly falling apart.
Yeah, that garbage placement was just pinpoint, really. Prevented Void from sending out any sort of retaliation for that whole time. This Void main here already?
No, I was gonna say Void's chain didn't quite look like it worked, but it looks like they just opted to fix it right then and there.
But that 2-chain is gonna set them back in terms of resources a little bit. Fortunately, Void's board is pretty flat, and it's not too difficult to extend off of this as long as he gets his colors.
There's two reds and a blue would have been really great there. That would have actually been really easy to work with. There's just not enough reds.
So far, it's not been looking so hot for Void, but at the same time, it's nothing that he can't fix by the end of this set. And worst case, he still has another set to figure it out. 2-chain for 2-chain. Gonna take a couple lines there.
It broke up a little bit of Yoshi's tail, making those blues a bit harder to work with, but... Oh, and that definitely is a little bit harder to work with now when Void is...
Oh, this is actually... Yep, that's the main chain for Yoshi.
I think...
This should live.
That's just barely going to return.
But one rock is nothing to sneeze at.
No, and the second chain from Void is definitely strong enough to handle all of that.
Yeah, I was looking for a blue there for Yoshi, right?
I think I missed that.
On to the next one. Void finally on the board, thank goodness.
Yeah, right? And Void was the one who was in the winner's bracket too, so they definitely don't want to lose here and have the bracket reset.
Well, maybe he just wants to play some more Puyo.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't we all?
That's a good attack from, good response from Yoshi there. And Void's column 5 and 6 are becoming a little bit hard to handle.
Unwieldy, yeah.
That's going to he's going to operate into the main chain, which looks to be about an 8-chain. Oh wow, I did not think there was going to be enough time for that purple. That was ballsy on Yoshi's part.
Calculated. Absolutely calculated. Easily countered 10 for Yoshi.
They didn't need the purple extension either, but you know, it all works out. You gotta flex a little bit harder sometimes.
Yeah, a searcher dominance. You know, you just drop those waffles everywhere. Hold this. Void's getting ready for some aggression though. We could see a triple. Oh, the triple's closed off for Void though. Settles for a double instead.
Yeah, Yoshi's chain tail came a little bit hard to work with there, so they decided to convert it into an attack. And Void able to get the green there in time to send their chain back. And it barely returns, but
this is a scramble
Yoshi's
right here.
right back on into the pressure. Void actually gets a good 5-chain there. And Yoshi's 3-chain back and forth, back and forth.
Looking like a cafeteria omelet bar. Show up and say, I'll have a scramble instead.
Wow, good two-chain there, and Void did not have nearly enough time for that one. This is quickly running away into Yoshi's game.
Yeah, I think so far what I've seen is Yoshi's just looks more comfortable today with chaining overall. Like, no amount of like back and forth can, you know, he always has an answer. That's what I'm seeing. You know, sometimes the answer isn't correct, but the fact that he's able to have an answer and just kind of be comfortable about it really speaks volumes as to, like, you know, the sort of mindset he has going into this and how to deal with different situations.
Absolutely. And Void definitely needs to figure something out here, though. Especially before this bracket reset, because Void does not want to start off the same way this set has gone.
Yeah, and so going back to the topic of comfort on Yoshi's end, how do you deal with someone that's just kind of like feeling it, you know? What could you possibly do here to shake him up?
It's very hard when you're playing against someone who's, you know, in the zone, who's feeling it, so to say, because it's hard to get a psychological advantage on them.
Yeah, Yoshi's just...
They're confident in what they're doing and they know what they need to do. It's really hard to kind of, you know...
They're just not leaving any gaps, really.
And even there, taking all of the time that Yoshi has to extend that chain as long as possible, not worrying about it in the slightest.
Oh, this set is coming to a close really quickly. Just one more point for Yoshi and that's a reset. And, you know, if it continues down that road, I hope Void has some time during the break to get it back together. Yoshi looking for an attack here, possibly?
Yeah, Void's got an attack right into those reds, and Yoshi's actually right into the main chain.
Yeah, Yoshi's committed that yellow and one. You're right. And so Void has a little bit of time to extend here. Goes for the blue extend to the yellow.
And no blue.
Oh, it was going so well for Void too. But that's gonna be the set. And... you know, that was honestly still a good round for Void. Got a little bit unlucky with the pieces. Hopefully, you know, he doesn't lose that energy and he's able to carry it into this next set. That's going to decide who's going to walk away, the winner of GTR 7 and the holder of the most Advent ranking points.
Yeah, and Void is definitely a very good player. Unfortunately, though, Yoshi is just playing very good and consistent right now.
Yoshi is
always
just...
able to respond, no matter, you know, at what point in the match it is, able to respond appropriately.
Yoshi is just suffocating right now, suffocatingly good. Main from Void here. Yoshi with that gap in column 3 is a little bit hard to build and the greens are blocking. Let's see if he's able to reverse this chain somehow.
Not able to get
the pieces.
Not able to get that purple in time for the...
Yeah, I would say that was a little bit of a misplay from Yoshi, having that one green ending up blocking the GTR in column 1. Could this be the beginning of gaps in Yoshi's armor? 2 double from Void. Forces main. This is actually very good timing for Void here. If he can get this extend, needs 2 blues. And they're coming. And gets the green in time. That was the perfect piece. Just in the nick of time.
Yoshi was really forced into that chain there, and
yeah, this set is looking a lot different so far. Void looks a lot more in control here.
I think maybe you might have been right. Void just really wanted to play more Puyo.
Thank you, Void. This is the content we love. That being said, it is technically a violation of the Advent League rules to throw matches, so Void most definitely did not throw those. For the record, do not do this. Void's got a big value in the board this time around. This is looking to be a fat power tail, right? No? No, that's just a nice interlock.
But I don't know. That wasn't.
Yoshi didn't have the read. Yoshi didn't have the read on how that tail would pan out.
Unable to connect everything and figure it out in time.
I wonder what happened. Come on, Yoshi. You can't just 180 on us like this. But I mean,
certainly wasn't what I was expecting to see. At least not that quickly. Or that drastically.
Yeah.
Although Yoshi is doing what he was doing last round and needs to get back to.
Yeah.
Going into these attacks in the middle stages of the game.
And
I think Void's columns 1 and 2 are looking a bit tough to manage, but they're also right into their main chain with more resources on the board. And Yoshi
sets off in reverse. Oh no! There's no way you can beat an 8 from there. Who folds?
And in Yoshi's gameplay has quickly fallen apart.
Yeah, it seems like, it almost feels like Yoshi's making mistakes that they weren't making last round.
This is where you start to wonder, you know, while the confidence was playing so well towards Yoshi in the last round, if they're making a lot of mistakes and losing a lot of these games, is that going to be a detriment? Like this right here,
yeah.
Is it going to play into their psychology and start to affect things even more?
Cause look, we're looking at 0-5 in Void's favor here. This is a complete turnaround.
You gotta hand it to Void too for you know, for being able to stick through it and not get discouraged after that last match either.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, maybe it's actually Yoshi that needs to mix things up a little bit, cause it's almost like Void's gotten comfortable with the pace now.
And it looks like Yoshi's onto the main chain. 11? And
but Void has a pretty long tail here. It goes all the way to the yellows, I believe.
Those yellows cut a little bit though.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah, it's a hard thing with some of those chain tails that collapse like that. It's really easy to get it's really easy to build extra layers of the wrong color and have it end up just collapsing and cutting everything. I do that mistake myself a lot.
But Yoshi's on the board now, thank goodness. No sweepies.
No sweepies.
Meanwhile, hefty one chain near the top of the board. Right? Column 4 is filled up. Gonna take time to flip that over.
But Yoshi has a really strong attack here that's going to force Void's main chain.
Yeah.
Yoshi needs yellows though, really bad.
Yeah, not getting any yellows for Yoshi. that was really unfortunate that they were left over with that one yellow covering covering their first floor at the end of their attack.
And the RNG, the sumo certainly didn't help.
Oh yeah. Void's steadily closing in on that dub, that GTR win. We'll see if Yoshi can bring it back.
Yoshi's tail is looking pretty nice right now, although they could have extended just a little bit more with the purple there.
Yeah, well, they better go now, because Void's coming in hot.
And those purples don't connect for Void.
Really unfortunate.
That's definitely going to make it easier for this chain to return.
That's a confidence booster for Yoshi for sure. That was just plain and simple outchain. We'll see if that mojo shines through for Yoshi here for the rest of this set, or if Void just stomps it out right here and now. 6-2, still a couple wins to go for Void.
I just want to point out how they both built their tails differently, but they ended up with like the exact same tail, and I found it very interesting.
Yeah. Purple cut here.
Yeah, the purple cut. And Void has his main chain though, which
that was too big of a commit from Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This second chain, I'm not thinking it has enough.
Yeah.
The power comes out too quickly on the fourth link there.
Yeah, that second chain was more like just the leftovers of his first chain because it didn't even work out.
You know, it's funny, they both built the same tail that didn't work out.
Void here, tournament point. We'll see. Two chain opener. But Yoshi still has the purples
double with those purples
to counter.
That will hurt if he can get that
here it comes
quickly. But not quick enough because Void definitely gets the time there. And
it's going to be a bit difficult to get down to the first floor for Yoshi here.
Oh, that's it with the purples right there.
Oh, he got it. Wow.
Yeah, those yellows coming around.
Yeah, connecting around the side, getting rid of that garbage. That was an excellent chain. Excellent solve for Yoshi.
No response from Void.
He's hanging on. Yoshi is hanging on.
Yeah, he really needs to speed this out to get the win here, right?
Yeah, and you know, question is he gonna go for mix-ups or is he gonna go for just solid outplays? Because he could very well do both, and that's the absolutely frightening thing. Again, Void with the aggression here.
And
main though.
Yeah, he forced Yoshi's main chain, but unfortunately,
I think Yoshi realized how weak Void's transition was.
Yeah, Void definitely was not set up to receive the full chain there, and Yoshi definitely took advantage of that.
Yeah, you really got to be careful that you don't dish what you can't take.
And
you know, you set off an attack, you got to be ready to follow up.
That's the trap you can fall into when the games start coming down to a lot of attacking, is that you can try to set up attacks and you'll forget to make sure that you keep things in a good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. But here, Yoshi getting rid of a couple of links. I don't know if I agree with this Void.
Extend for Yoshi here.
Yeah, get that alternating trigger set up.
And the purple is in the way.
Yeah, I was thinking that Yoshi would have gone for another purple link, but that's going to be the set, and that's going to be the tournament for Void. What a run. All the way from round 1 up to first set of grand finals. Did not drop a single set, but there you have it.
All of these players played very well tonight.
Not a single bad set on stream. Love to see it.
And definitely congratulations, Saw.
Yeah, congrats to our top 8. We got Void in first, our champion, followed up by Yoshi. Thrilling battle in second place. Then we've got Furbirch Hog, rest of Furbirch Hog, and honorable mentions for Rinto and Dan. Finishing third and fourth, third and fourth, and rounding out top 8, we've got Anameru and Hiku. Props to all the players. It was an excellent show. Had a lot of fun. Hope everyone else did too.
Thank you all for having me on for commentary tonight.
Yeah, no,
it was
you
definitely
did
a lot
great.
of fun. It's my first time.
Yeah, I'd say you did a really good job, and look forward to having you back. Especially since Advent League's kicking off. A good chunk of our commentators or folks that wanted to commentate are planning on grinding. It's gonna be a good run. I'm excited for Advent League. I'm excited for all these events coming up. Why don't we talk about those real quick? Bi-weekly GTR. Here we are. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Same deal. Get your points. And get your practice in. Perfect Clear Online, May 6th. Join the Perfect Clear server and sign up on Smash GG. Premier event.
Yeah, don't forget the first premiere event.
And Puyo VS Latam. Join their Discord April 24th. Don't miss it. Points again, by the way, for Advent League. And yeah, that's gonna be it. I think we're looking for somebody to raid right now, but we will be wrapping up soon. Also, one last shout outs to Icy Sophie for saving the stream last GTR. Thank you. Had a blast. Thank you, boyfreda, for joining me today.
Thank you.
And join PuyoTet World. That's where all the cool Puyo and Tetris stuff is going on. There will be more info on other community events, other tournaments, and a lot of cool people hanging out there. If you're cool, we would love to have you. If you're not cool, well, you're probably wrong.
Matchmaking is very good on that server too.
If you want to play, we want to get better. And also check out Puyo Weekly Review. Well, quote-unquote weekly review, whenever that's happening. Join Kyobi's Discord for that information. Study up with us there, get good, and kick butt at the next GTR, and get those Advent League points, baby. Yeah, and so that I think is going to be it. Who we rating?
Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, lovely hanging out with everyone. Shout outs to production folks, to Kyobi for running the stream flawless as usual. Well, except for the last one.
Wow. Yeah, right. I guess I can actually climb out of the curtain for this one. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. I got a lock on an unsuspecting Puyo streamer right now, and I would love it if you guys can at least stick around for the raid and show that the Puyo scene is here, and we're here for some good old Puyo action, and sometimes Tetris. I think the streamer I found is doing like casual 4-player free-for-alls on Tetris. So, yeah.
Heck yeah, show them some love.
Yeah, show them some love. Tell them we're here. We're here, and Puyo is here to stay, and it's a freaking fantastic game. So yeah.
The community's only getting better over time.
Yep. All right. Yeah, so shout outs to everybody who's been involved with GTR. We don't have a lot of time, but yeah, there's a lot of people involved. Make sure to give them some thanks and follow them if you'd like. And we'll see you all in the next GTR. So until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Later, everybody.
Bye.